The Barricade HD Overland drop side steps are a great setup for the 2010 and newer Ram 2500 or 3500 owner who's looking to have it all: protection, accessibility, and style in one package. These are a great side step that works really well with the style of the HD Rams, and it gives you some nice benefits whether you're dailying your truck, building an overlanding rig, using it for work, or anything in between. Side steps are a ubiquitous modification for a number of reasons. They usually have an easy installation, they make accessing the cabin of your truck easier, and they can provide you with some additional protection as well. Now these ones are a bit unique, and for that reason alone, I really dig them. You get the typical type of drop steps underneath of each door with built-in grips, and there are additional grips on the main section of the bar itself. So you'll have plenty of traction even if you've been out in wet or slippery conditions. And you've basically got 2 steps to get into your truck, so even if you've lifted it, you've got plenty of access to it. Now those steps, as you can see, are separate pieces, so if you really need the extra clearance for off-roading or overlanding, you can just get under there and unbolt them. You'll still have extra traction and space to step up into the cabin of the truck with them gone. Now the main sections of the bars here have a really unique kind of angular style to them, and I think it works really well with the square-jawed, muscular, upright styling of these HD Rams. They're a bit more modern and angular than a traditional side step, which gives them a bit of an edge in some ways, both literally and figuratively. They also tuck up pretty close to the rocker panels, so they'll afford you plenty of protection from rocks and other obstacles, or even just dings out in a parking lot. The steps are constructed from heavy-duty steel plate for strength, and they're finished with Barricade's 2-stage textured black powder coat. That means these are going to be very resistant to rust and corrosion, and they should be able to take a beating whether you're on the trail or on the street. Pricing comes in at about $725, putting them pretty much right in the middle of the category. While they aren't as pricey or as fancy as things like a powered side step, you're still getting a very solid setup that will withstand a lot of abuse, and it's got some cool style associated with it as well. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about 2 hours to complete. Now these are a totally bolt-on part, so they don't require you to make any modifications to the truck, and that means this is a job that you can certainly tackle yourself. And now we're going to show you that process step by step, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, 10, 13, and 17 millimeter sockets, 10, 13, and 16 millimeter wrenches. Today we're going to be doing some side steps on our Ram, so let's get started. So we're starting off underneath the vehicle. You're going to come back behind your pinch weld, and on the inside of your body, you're going to find 3 sections like this, one with a large oval hole and then 2 hexagonal holes, as well as your 2 pre-drilled holes on your pinch weld. What we're going to need to do first is get our combo nut and bolt plate in. How to do that, we're going to take one of our mounting bolts, thread that into the nut side, just a little bit. You don't want to go in too far in there. We can send this through, get that lined up, that hex hole. As you can see, sometimes it is a little bit of a pain to get these in. Once you have that in, you want to hold on to it. You want to grab your supplied plastic retainer washer. And we're going to thread that over our stud. This is just to help hold it in place. Once you have that in pretty good, we can remove this bolt, drop this down. Now we're going to grab our main mounting bracket. Now these are all the same, and they're going to be marked with a D or a P for driver or passenger. Location on these doesn't matter, just which side. We're going to get that over. What we're going to do first is line up our provided bolt, flat washer, and lock washer with the open nut position. Once we got that loosely in place, we'll grab our flat washer, lock washer, and nut for our stud. Now we'll get our flat washer, our lock washer, and our nut in place on our stud. And once we have this loosely in place, we're going to come back and install our support bracket. So now we're going to get our support bracket in. It's going to line up on the back side of your pinch weld with your mounting holes there, and then our through hole for our main bracket. So for that through hole, we're going to grab our supplied bolt and flat washer, get that in, and we'll install our other flat washer and our lock nut backside. It's just going to help keep it in place and not fall on our faces. For our pinch weld, we're going to grab our supplied bolts and large flat washer, get one through, flat washer, and a lock nut on the back of that. And we can add in our second one as well. And once you have this bracket loosely in place, you can do the same thing for the other two brackets. Now that we have our bracketry in place, we're going to need to install our drop steps onto our main step assembly. So for that, we've got our two steps, and we've also got our mounting bolt plates as well as our hardware. What we're going to do first is get our first triangle through our step, get that lined up with the mounting holes like so. And we're going to take our drop step, install that onto that triangle. Then onto these, we're going to add a flat washer and a lock nut for each stud. And once you get that first one loosely in place, that's going to hold our step on. And we'll grab our other triangle. We'll get our other stud mount in, line that up with our step, and we'll have to hold that in position. Got a flat washer and our lock nut in place. Now that we have this loosely in place, we're going to come in with a 13 mil ratchet wrench and tighten these down. Now that we've got this one on, we're going to do the same thing for our other step. Now we're going to get our step onto our brackets. Slide those on, and we'll get under here and install our hardware. Alrighty guys, so our mounting hardware is going to go onto our brackets that are actually inside of our step. So it is kind of hard to see, but you want this main bracket to line up with your mounting bracket and your step. And then we're going to get two of our provided bolts and flat washers through. Now you do have room to get your hand in here, but you definitely want to keep a hand on your step itself. So you're going to have to move it around a little bit. First bolt in, followed by our second bolt. And on the back side of these bolts, we'll add in our other flat washers and our locking nuts. And we'll do the same thing for that other bolt. And once you got your first two in, you want to do the same thing for the other two brackets. Alrighty guys, so now that we have our steps loosely in place, we're going to start tightening everything down. We're going to start at our main bracket bolts up here. So we're going to use our 13 millimeter socket on our ratchet to tighten these down. You want to make sure this is straight as possible. Next, we can tighten down our two pinch weld bolts. So we'll need our 10 millimeter socket and our 10 millimeter wrench. Then we'll tighten down our support bolt, so we'll need our 13 millimeter wrench and 13 mil socket for that. Now once you've reached this point, you want to tighten down the other two brackets. That way we can level our steps properly. So we'll go ahead and tighten those down, then we'll come back and tighten down our step mounting bolts. Alright, so now that we have our brackets themselves tightened down, we can come back and adjust and tighten our steps. So now you are going to have some room to pivot up or down, however you want your steps to sit. If you need an extra set of hands to help you hold it in place, you can do that, or if you're under here, you can use your leg. And we'll use our 17 mil socket on our ratchet and a 16 millimeter wrench for our bolt head to tighten these down. And once you got this first one tight, you can do the same thing for the other two. Now once you got this side fully installed, you can repeat the same process for the other side. That about wraps up our review and install of our Barricade HD Overland drop side step bars for your 10 to current Ram 2500 and 3500 crew cab. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.